And welcome back to another episode of The Credit Authority. Once again, I am your host, Rhonda Kulch, and I am so glad that you tuned in this week. We always want to start our segment by thanking our sponsor. Once again, big thank you to Equity First. If you are experiencing credit and or financial challenges for either yourself or your business, feel free to reach out to any one of their trained professionals. They are bilingual, nationwide, and waiting for your call. They can be reached at 631-714-4822. And it wouldn't be a weekly episode if we didn't bring in our professional real estate agents. So with us this week, I have my friends Paula and Nicole. How are you?
Great. Hi, how you doing?
Hello there, ladies. I just want to thank you for coming into the studio. You're going to want to come a little closer.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. You know, when you're live in the studio, sometimes people get comfortable in the chair and they touch stuff. Stop touching stuff.
Sorry.
No, so I'd love to talk about the market. So both of you have been in real estate for quite some time. Let's talk a little bit about the challenges that realtors are facing right now. So how about we bring that over to you, Nicole?
Hey, okay. Well, actually, I haven't been in real estate all that long. I'll have my license for 2 years now in November. So I got thrown into a really roller coaster of a market. I was so excited. Paula had taken me on. She told me where to go. She told me everything to do. She threw me clients immediately. I was making offers on my first day out, and I'm like, so excited. I'm telling my husband, this is great. Oh my God, I could have sold a house in my very first try. I love it. And then, you find out that the offer does not get accepted. They're being outbid by people with cash. Very, very daunting. Very daunting.
And you probably went out the gate and you're like, hey, I'm a rock star. No wonder why everybody loves to be in real estate, because all the bells and whistles come out and you're like, wow, this is exactly as sexy as I thought it was going to be, until you got outbid.
Yeah.
So how did you handle that challenge?
You kept on getting up and going back out there. That's all you can do is move forward.
You can, and I love that answer, right? Because it's like you pick yourself back up and you go, hey, what do I need to do now? I think one of the challenges that I see from some of the other realtors that I've worked with is making sure that consumer, that client of yours, understands that it's not a failure on your side and that it's a team effort. You need to just keep plugging away.
100%.
Did those set of clients continue to work with you?
No.
Oh, no.
You get ghosted. And yeah, that doesn't feel good either. You get ghosted a lot. And people think, oh, wow, you're a realtor. You make all this money. You hardly do anything. Let me tell you, I worked my butt off for a year. It took me a whole year to make my first paycheck. A whole year. And I'm still working hard. We ended up going after listings. This is a listing market right now. It's a seller's market. And then we did great with that.
I love it.
We got our first multi-million-dollar listing, 3 Conscience Bow in Oldfield, $2.25 million.
I know the area.
Very
good job,
excited
ladies.
about that. Yeah. We work our butts off. And I think coming into real estate at the time I did made me not have any bad habits. You see a lot of realtors from the COVID era, which they were selling houses left and right. They didn't need to do anything. They could have put a for sale by owner sign. It would be sold in a day. I didn't get that. I had to work hard, and I still do work hard. Going back to we were door knocking. We were
I see that happening more.
Cold calling,
showing up at festivals on the weekends.
So I don't know if you're allowed to chime in while she's talking, but a lot of the stuff that we had to do was going back to the basics. And I think that once you obtain a client, it's all about building that trust within them and working with what they have. We really will work with a client, or at least I have, for like a year or two, kind of to get them what they want and where they want to go. There's a lot of legalities and things that go on in the real estate market, especially now with the discrimination clause and everything that we have going on. So you have to be really careful about certain things. But COVID really threw a monkey wrench at a lot of people, especially the first-time home buyers.
And I don't disagree with that at all. And I think I want to cover two things with you. Again, we're now speaking with Paula Nolan. And one of them is when people are listening to you, oh, you're a realtor, all you do all day long is drive from house to house. Mm-hmm. Let's take a she's laughing. Let's take a hard pause. Fill us in, and it could be like little bullet points, all the other things that you need to do throughout the course of the day to get that deal to close.
The closing part. So it's really a matter of just getting the accepted offer first for the client, and that's structuring their deal in the right manner. And, you have a lot of competition out there nowadays. But getting the deal to close, there's a lot that goes on. I mean, we just had a property that just pulled out at the last minute. It was due to the seller. And at that point, I really picked up and started working for the seller. But there's a lot that goes into it, especially from the mortgage standpoint. And that's why it's great to have a good mortgage professional that you work with.
Yeah, we call them our power partners, right? So when we're speaking with professionals that come in, a lot of times, again, just saying even from the real estate, I know so many people in that real estate field that are true professionals, right? There's a difference between somebody who's doing this part-time because their kids are in school and they're looking for something to do, or a true professional that understands the grind. And, what I hear, in my ear is, I had to run to the inspection. I had to make 5 other phone calls. I had to coddle my client. The seller tried to pull out. I had to explain why my client is the best client out there. I had to remind them that I may have been $5,000 less, but I am an all-cash offer. So didn't mean to not throw in the title problem. Did they not get the CO? So when we're speaking and you're really looking to choose a professional in the real estate space, it's wonderful that you've brought somebody in like Nicole, because I know she comes from that background of understanding and really being consistent. But where it comes to the side of the real estate professional, if you don't work with somebody that understands how to handle that scenario, it could get ugly really quick.
Oh yeah, it really does.
Really, really quick.
We've had that happen a few times, unfortunately, and I think it's a gamble in almost any deal because you don't necessarily know. If it depends on whose side you're working for. So if you're working for the seller, it's a different scenario than working for the buyer. But there is so much that comes into play. I mean, once they start going through, the inspections of the house is one of the things. So when we do a listing, we try and include, which I think is really important if it's an older home, we tell our seller to include the homeowner's warranty because it kind of takes a little bit of the weight off of the buyer's shoulder when they come in. And I think that's a good avenue to take for us. But dealing with a professional is a lot different than dealing with someone who does do it part-time. I mean, we're in the office every day. We're on the phone. We're calling. You have to be consistent. We're door knocking. We're going to networking groups. We're trying to build the sphere of influence, which is really, really difficult because everybody and their mother is a real estate agent. And unfortunately, that's a true statement. Everybody has a real estate license, but not all of them know the ins and outs of real estate and the legalities that come behind it. So I think finding a professional that's there every day and knows how to work the deal and has those people in their pocket, their underwriters, their mortgage people, their inspectors and appraisers is a really good thing to have. And that comes from a professional, not a part-time teacher.
And listen, I agree with you 1,000%. And this is why, we bring somebody like you onto the show, because it's important for people to listen. There's nothing wrong with the part-time person who says, I can only do this part-time. I think where they fall short is that they don't join a team. Right. Because you need the team in order to grow. So instead of trying to make more money, how about you'll make more money joining a team, working part-time, and knowing that you have, sisters and brothers you can fall back on, than trying to think that you're going to make the whole pot.
Yep.
Right?
That's part of the concept that we really grew off of is we like to plant a garden for everyone to harvest from and not a tree to shade one house. So we share everything, really. I mean, and it comes down to not just working together in the real estate group, but supporting each other when we need things at home and outside of the office. And I find that being part of a team is a really great attribute to be able to bounce ideas off of each other. It's also nice to have a couple of people working together where the seller or your buyer needs you there a lot more. And they know that if I'm not going to be there, Paula can't be there, then Nicole's going to be there. And if I can trust Nicole the way Nicole trusts me, then they find that they can trust the both of us. And I think that's an important part of having a team.
It is. And I think also, what's important is that not everybody's personalities gel.
Correct.
So when so when you have the
Isn't that the
opportunity to build a nice team, there are those times where I'll say it myself, a client will call and they look at me and I'm like, I'm going to just need a minute, and you walk away. But if you're a solopreneur, you have nobody to kind of kick back to. But when you have a team, or in my case, I have a staff, but when you have a team, you can turn around and Paula can say, Nicole, not today, cannot do this today. Honey, I need you to just pick it up and run with it. So I know you understand that. So for the sake of time, once again, we are in studio with my wonderful real estate ladies, Nicole and Paula. And today's lesson of the day, work with a professional. If you are thinking of buying or selling real estate in today's market, don't worry, I'm going to have all their contact information coming up for you real soon. Until next time, stay tuned. We're bringing in our final guest.